My boss called me into her office and said, "We need to talk about what you did to your coworker's duck." I stared at Patricia, trying to process what she just said. What duck? I didn't even know what she was talking about. I work in IT support for a medical billing company. Nobody has ducks. Nobody talks about ducks. Patricia's face was serious, the way it looked when someone was getting fired. She said Marcus from accounting had filed a formal complaint about me harming his duck, and HR was involved now. I told her I'd never touched anyone's duck, that Marcus and I barely spoke except when I fixed his printer jams. She pulled out a printed email showing Marcus's complaint, detailed paragraphs about how I deliberately damaged his duck, how it was irreplaceable, how he felt unsafe working near me. The email was dated 3 days ago. I'd been on vacation for the past week. I pointed this out, showed her my approved time off request, but Patricia just nodded slowly like she'd expected me to say that. She told me to go back to my desk while she looked into it further. Walking back through the office, I noticed people watching me differently. Katie from HR turned away when I made eye contact. Marcus wasn't at his desk. My friend Ryan from the help desk pulled me aside near the break room. He looked nervous, kept glancing around like someone might hear us. He whispered that everyone had been talking about the duck situation for days, that Marcus was really upset, and that I should probably apologize before this got worse. I asked Ryan what the hell a duck even was in this context, and he looked at me like I was playing dumb. He said I knew what it was, that I shouldn't pretend I didn't. Then he walked away fast. I went to Marcus's desk when I knew he was in a meeting. There was nothing duck-related anywhere. No photos of ducks, no rubber ducks, nothing. But I noticed his desk drawer was locked with a combination lock that hadn't been there before. That afternoon, I got called to HR. The woman handling my case was someone I'd never met, brought in from corporate. She asked me to explain my relationship with Marcus and why I'd targeted his property. I kept saying I didn't know what property she meant, that I needed someone to tell me what a duck was. She leaned back in her chair and said the fact that I was still playing ignorant was making this much worse for me, that Marcus had documentation, witnesses, and physical evidence. She said the company took workplace harassment very seriously, especially when it involved destroying personal property worth over $10,000. $10,000 for a duck. I demanded to see this duck, to see the evidence, but she said that wasn't how this worked. She said I had 24 hours to submit a written statement and that I should use that time to think very carefully about my story. Back at my desk, I started searching company emails for any mention of ducks. Nothing. I checked our internal chat system. Nothing. But then I found something weird. 3 months ago, Marcus had sent an email to 5 people, including Ryan, with the subject line DUCK project. I'd been copied on it but never opened it. I clicked it now. The email was empty except for an attachment that wouldn't open anymore. File corrupted or deleted. I checked the other recipients. All of them had been avoiding me today. All of them worked in accounting. I went to the server room where we kept backup logs and started pulling archived emails. That's when I found the real DUCK project file buried in the accounting department's shared drive. It wasn't about a duck at all. It was an acronym, and what those letters actually stood for meant Marcus had been doing something very illegal with company funds. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below. My fingers fly across the keyboard, copying the DUCK project files onto my USB drive as quickly as possible. My heart pounds against my ribcage like it's trying to escape. The server room's harsh fluorescent lighting suddenly seems too bright, the hum of equipment too loud. Diverting undisclosed corporate capital. That's what DUCK stands for. Not a rubber duck, not a pet duck, not any kind of actual duck. It's an accounting scheme, a sophisticated one, and based on what I'm seeing, it's been siphoning company money for months. The server room door swings open with a metallic creak. I nearly jump out of my skin as a security guard steps in, clipboard in hand. "Hey, what are you doing in here?" His voice is more curious than accusatory, but my palms start sweating immediately. "Just running some system maintenance," I say, trying to keep my voice steady while sliding the USB drive into my pocket. I flash my IT badge, hoping he doesn't notice how my hand trembles. One of the backup protocols was throwing errors. He glances at my badge, then at the screen where I've quickly pulled up a diagnostic tool. "All right, make sure you log it in the system before you leave." "Will do." The door closes behind him, and I exhale a breath I didn't realize I was holding. I finish the download, properly log out of the system, and make my way back to my desk, trying to look as normal as possible while feeling like everyone can see right through me. Back at my workstation, I plug in the USB drive and start examining the files more carefully. The DUCK project is extensive, a complex web of fake vendors, doctored invoices, and offshore accounts. Marcus didn't just create this system, he architected it with meticulous attention to detail. The documents show that $3.2 million has already been diverted over the past year and a half. I scroll through a spreadsheet listing the fake vendors. MedTech Solutions, Pinnacle Healthcare Systems, Apex Billing Consultants, each one with legitimate-looking invoices, payment histories, even fake websites if anyone bothered to check. The money flows through these shell companies before disappearing into offshore accounts. What's more disturbing is the list of employees involved. 5 names from accounting appear repeatedly in the communications, including Ryan from the help desk. No wonder he was acting so strange. He wasn't just a bystander, he was complicit. I open another document, this one containing personnel information about the team members. My blood runs cold when I see a familiar name, the HR woman from corporate who's handling my case. She's listed as family connection M. Thornhill, cousin, Marcus's cousin. The person deciding my fate in this company is literally related to the man who's trying to frame me. My phone buzzes with a text. It's from Ryan. "They know you found it." 3 simple words that send ice through my veins. I look up from my screen to see Patricia walking purposefully across the office floor, the HR woman beside her. They're heading straight for my desk, and their expressions are anything but friendly. I quickly close the files and pull the USB drive from my computer. My mind races through options. I can't confront them directly, not with what I know now. This isn't about a duck anymore. It's about millions of dollars in corporate fraud, and I've just become the biggest threat to their operation. Marcus appears from around the corner, his face a mask of professional concern, but his eyes are cold and calculating. He's positioned himself to block the exit nearest my desk. They're surrounding me. The pieces fall into place with terrible clarity. Marcus needed a scapegoat, someone to take the fall if the scheme was discovered. My week-long vacation gave him the perfect opportunity to set me up. The duck story was absurd by design, so ridiculous that my denials would sound like desperate lies. I slip the USB drive into my shoe as Patricia and the HR woman approach. My computer screen now displays nothing but routine IT tickets, but my heart is pounding so loudly I'm sure they can hear it. "We need to continue our discussion," Patricia says, her voice clipped. "In the conference room." I nod, standing slowly. Of course. As I follow them, I notice security guards positioning themselves near the exits. Ryan watches from his desk, his face pale, fingers nervously tapping his keyboard. He's scared, and that scares me even more. The DUCK project isn't just some minor workplace issue. It's major financial fraud, and I've just stumbled into the middle of it. These people have stolen millions, and they think I'm about to expose them. They're right. But first, I need to get out of this building alive, with the evidence intact. The USB drive feels impossibly heavy in my shoe as I walk toward what I'm certain is not going to be a friendly HR meeting. Patricia holds the conference room door open, her smile not reaching her eyes. "After you," she says. I step inside, already planning my next move. Whatever happens in this room, one thing is clear. The DUCK project is about to come home to roost. I don't wait for the conference room ambush to play out. As Patricia holds the door open with that cold smile, I suddenly pat my pockets and look panicked. "I'm so sorry. I left my notes at my desk. Give me 1 minute to grab them." Before she can object, I turn and walk briskly toward my workstation, heart hammering in my chest. I don't look back. I don't run. I grab only my phone and jacket, leaving everything else behind. The elevator is miraculously open, and I slip inside, jabbing the lobby button repeatedly. As the doors begin to close, I catch a glimpse of 2 security guards rifling through my desk drawers. Patricia stands in the conference room doorway, her face hardening as she spots me in the elevator. Our eyes lock for a split second before the doors slide shut completely. The ride down feels endless. I'm hyper-aware of the USB drive in my shoe, pressing uncomfortably against my arch with each nervous shift of weight. When the doors finally open, I walk, not run across the lobby, nodding casually at the receptionist. Once outside, I resist the urge to sprint to my car, maintaining a steady pace until I'm safely inside with the doors locked. "Holy shit," I whisper, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. Holy shit. I drive aimlessly for 30 minutes, constantly checking my rearview mirror for any sign of pursuit. When I'm confident I'm not being followed, I pull into a rundown motel on the outskirts of town, the kind that still uses actual keys and doesn't ask for ID if you pay cash. I hand over $60 for the night and lock myself in room 114, immediately pushing the dresser in front of the door. My hands shake as I retrieve the USB drive from my shoe. The motel's ancient desk becomes my command center as I power up my laptop and dive deeper into the DUCK project files. Jesus, I mutter, scrolling through spreadsheet after spreadsheet. They've been running this for 18 months. The scheme is more sophisticated than I initially realized. Marcus created a backdoor in the accounting software that automatically skims a small percentage from each medical billing transaction. Never enough to raise flags, but with thousands of transactions daily, it adds up fast. The money flows through a series of shell companies before landing in offshore accounts registered to anonymous entities. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Turn on Channel 7 News. I find the remote and flip on the small TV. My stomach drops as I see Patricia's face filling the screen, standing outside our company building with a somber expression. Deeply disappointed to announce that we've uncovered a significant fraud scheme perpetrated by one of our IT employees, she's saying. We're cooperating fully with authorities to recover the stolen funds. The reporter turns to the camera. Sources confirm that the employee in question allegedly diverted over $10,000 through a sophisticated computer scheme before fleeing the office this afternoon when confronted. My phone rings. It's my college roommate, Alex, who now works for the FBI's cybercrime division. I texted him earlier with a vague 911 financial crime emergency message. "Dude, what the hell? Your face is all over the news," he says when I answer. "It's a setup," I tell him, my voice cracking. "They're framing me for their own scheme. I have proof everything on this drive. Don't tell me anything else on this line," Alex says, suddenly professional. "Where are you? I'm coming to you." I give him the motel information, and he promises to be there in 2 hours. While waiting, I continue examining the files, documenting everything meticulously. The DUCK project isn't just Marcus's scheme. It's a coordinated effort involving key people throughout the company. Ryan from the help desk managed the technical aspects, while the accounting team members ensured the transactions looked legitimate. My email pings with a notification. It's from an anonymous address with no subject line, just an attachment. I hesitate before opening it, scanning for malware first. It's a video file security footage from what appears to be Marcus's office from earlier today. I watch as Marcus paces back and forth, gesturing angrily while Patricia and the HR woman sit across from him. The timestamp shows this was just after I'd accessed the server room. "He knows about the duck," Marcus says, running his hands through his hair. "The whole fucking project. I saw the server logs." "How much does he know?" Patricia asks, remarkably calm. "Enough to ruin us all if he goes to the authorities," Marcus replies. "Then we need to handle the duck situation immediately," the HR woman says. "We already have the paperwork ready to frame him for theft." Marcus nods. "Get security to search his desk. I'll call our contact at the police department. By the time he realizes what's happening, it'll be his word against the entire management team." The video ends abruptly. I sit back, a strange calm settling over me. They've declared war, but they don't realize I have their entire playbook. The DUCK project isn't just evidence of their fraud, it's my ticket to clearing my name. A knock at the door startles me. I check my watch. Alex shouldn't be here for another hour. I quietly move to the window and peek through the curtains, half expecting to see security guards or police. Instead, it's the motel manager, holding up an envelope. "Someone just dropped this off for you," he calls through the door. I carefully move the dresser, take the envelope, and lock up again immediately. Inside is a single handwritten note. "They've frozen your bank accounts. Watch your back. R. Ryan." Even now, he's playing both sides. I check my banking app, and sure enough, my accounts show a temporary hold pending investigation. They're cutting off my resources, isolating me completely. I look at the DUCK project files spread across the bed, then back at the paused video, showing Marcus's plotting face. "Game on," I whisper, and begin preparing everything Alex will need to take them down. town. I meet Alex at a 24-hour diner 3 miles from the motel. It's nearly midnight, and the place is almost empty. Just a trucker nursing coffee at the counter, and an elderly couple sharing pie in the corner booth. Perfect for what we need to discuss. Alex slides into the booth across from me, looking every inch the federal agent despite his casual clothes. His eyes scan the restaurant before settling on me. Jesus, you look terrible, he says, keeping his voice low. Been a hell of a day, I reply, sliding the USB drive across the table. Everything's here, the entire DUCK project. Financial records, fake vendors, offshore accounts, the whole scheme. Alex pockets the drive without looking at it. Tell me exactly what happened. I walk him through everything, finding the files, the setup, Patricia's news interview, the anonymous video showing Marcus plotting against me. Alex listens without interrupting, occasionally making notes in a small notebook. This pattern matches 3 other corporate theft cases I've worked, he says finally. Same. MO: create fake vendors, siphon small amounts from thousands of transactions, frame someone when the heat gets too close. He taps his pen against the table. We'll need to move fast. These types get desperate when cornered. How long will it take to verify what's on the drive? A few hours. I've got a team standing by. He checks his watch. Stay at the motel tonight. Don't use credit cards. Don't call anyone. Don't access your accounts online. I'll contact you tomorrow morning with next steps. We finish our coffee, and Alex leaves first. I wait 15 minutes before heading back to the motel, constantly checking my rearview mirror. The parking lot is quiet when I arrive. No unfamiliar vehicles. No suspicious figures lurking in shadows. I breathe a small sigh of relief as I approach my room. The relief evaporates instantly when I notice the door is slightly ajar. I freeze, heart hammering against my ribs. The dresser I'd pushed against the door has been moved. Someone's inside. I consider running, calling Alex. But what if they've already taken the evidence I left behind? Taking a deep breath, I push the door open slowly. Marcus sits in the room's only chair, looking strangely calm. My laptop is open on the desk in front of him, the screen showing a login prompt. He turns to me with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. There you are. I was starting to think you weren't coming back. I remain in the doorway, ready to bolt. How did you find me? Ryan may have helped you earlier, but his loyalty has always been flexible. Marcus gestures to the chair opposite him. Please sit. I think we can resolve this situation like professionals. I step inside but remain standing. There's nothing to resolve. You stole $3.2 million and tried to frame me for it, and now you have evidence that could send me to prison for a very long time. Marcus nods as if acknowledging a minor inconvenience, which is why I'm prepared to offer you $50,000 to destroy that evidence and walk away. I almost laugh. 50,000? You stole millions. 50,000 is life-changing money for someone in your position, Marcus says, his voice condescending. Especially now that you're unemployed, your accounts are frozen, and your reputation is ruined. I slip my hand into my pocket, activating the voice recorder on my phone. Tell me how you did it, how you framed me. Marcus leans back, pride overriding caution. It was almost too easy. Your vacation gave us the perfect window. We created backdated emails showing you'd set up the fake vendors months ago. Katie in HR helped doctor the timestamps. She's quite skilled with digital forensics. And the duck story? He smirks. That was Patricia's idea. Make the accusation so absurd that your denials would sound desperate. No one steals a rubber duck worth $10,000, but it made for a memorable headline, didn't it? And it distracted from the actual money trail. You never thought I'd find the DUCK project files. An unfortunate oversight. We should have purged those from the server. He sighs, checking his watch. So, do we have a deal? 50,000 cash in exchange for whatever evidence you think you have? And if I refuse? Marcus's expression hardens. Then things get unpleasant. You're already being framed for a crime that carries a minimum 5-year sentence. How much worse do you want this to get? Before I can answer, the motel room door bursts open. 2 agents and FBI windbreakers rush in, weapons drawn, followed by Alex. FBI, don't move! One shouts as Marcus jumps to his feet. Marcus Thornhill, you're under arrest for wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy, Alex says, holstering his weapon as the other agents secure Marcus. We've been monitoring this conversation. You have the right to remain silent. Marcus stares at me with pure hatred as they cuff him. You were wearing a wire? I pull my phone from my pocket. Didn't need one. You're not as smart as you think you are. Alex nods to me as they lead Marcus out. We're executing a warrant at your company headquarters right now. The entire DUCK project team is being rounded up as we speak. I collapse onto the bed as the adrenaline drains from my system. Through the open door, I watch them place Marcus in an unmarked car, his face a mask of disbelief. His phone is bagged as evidence, the same phone that likely contains all the incriminating messages exchanged with his co-conspirators. The DUCK has finally come home to roost. The next 48 hours unfold like a blur of activity and vindication. I watch from the sidelines as the entire DUCK project team crumbles under the weight of evidence against them. All 5 members, Marcus, Ryan, Katie from HR, and 2 accounting managers I barely knew, are arrested and processed through the system like common criminals, rather than the corporate elite they thought themselves to be. Alex calls me with updates throughout the process, his voice carrying a hint of professional satisfaction. We've traced most of the $3.2 million to accounts in the Cayman Islands and Singapore. Recovery efforts are already underway. I'm sitting in a hotel room, paid for by the FBI while they finish processing the evidence. My name hasn't been officially cleared yet, but the news has shifted dramatically. The company's CEO appears on the same Channel 7 broadcast where Patricia had smeared me, this time with a very different message. We deeply regret the false accusations made against our IT employee, he says, looking appropriately somber. Initial evidence indicates he was the whistleblower who uncovered this fraud, not its perpetrator. We're cooperating fully with federal authorities and conducting our own internal investigation into how this happened. 2 days later, I receive a call from the CEO himself. We'd like to offer you your position back, he says, his voice carefully modulated to sound sincere, with a substantial raise and, of course, a formal apology. I almost laugh. I appreciate the offer, but I'll have to decline. Perhaps we could discuss a different role? Director of Information Security, perhaps? We're implementing new oversight systems to prevent anything like this from happening again. I'm sure you are, I reply, thinking of how quickly they'd believed Marcus's ridiculous duck story without verifying a single detail. But I've decided to pursue other opportunities opportunities. Those other opportunities materialize faster than I expected. The settlement package they offer to avoid a wrongful termination lawsuit is substantial enough to give me breathing room for the first time in my adult life. My frozen accounts are unfrozen, my reputation restored, and my inbox fills with messages from recruiters who've heard about my role in uncovering the fraud. The preliminary hearing for the DUCK project team is a surreal experience. I sit in the back of the courtroom watching Marcus in his orange jumpsuit, his confident smirk replaced by hollow-eyed resignation. The prosecutor outlines charges that could result in 15 to 20 years for each defendant. Wire fraud, money laundering, conspiracy, obstruction of justice. The list goes on. Patricia isn't in handcuffs, but her career is effectively over. The company fired her immediately after learning she'd participated in framing me without verifying Marcus's claims. She sits alone in the gallery, no longer the powerful department head who could make or break careers with a word. She's cooperating, Alex tells me during a break in the proceedings. Says Marcus convinced her the theft was your doing. She never bothered to check because she was already annoyed you'd taken vacation during a busy period. I shake my head, still amazed at how easily a workplace grudge had nearly destroyed my life. And the HR woman, Marcus's cousin? Katie's looking at additional charges for falsifying company records. She was the one who backdated those emails to make it look like you'd set up the fake vendors. 3 weeks after my world imploded over a rubber duck that never existed, I receive a letter from county jail. The return address shows Ryan's name. I almost throw it away unopened, but curiosity gets the better of me. I never meant for things to go this far. His letter begins. Marcus recruited me 18 months ago. Said it was just a little side project to skim some extra cash the company would never miss. He had dirt on me, knew I'd been fudging my timesheets, so I helped with the technical side, setting up the server backdoors, creating the fake digital footprints. When you found the files, he panicked and decided you were the perfect scapegoat. The letter continues for 3 pages, a mixture of apology and self-justification that leaves me cold. I fold it carefully and add it to the evidence file I'm keeping, just in case. My phone buzzes with an email from my former company. It's a company-wide message about new financial controls being implemented, including a whistleblower system and enhanced auditing procedures. The email includes a photo of the executive team standing proudly behind these new initiatives. In the background, barely visible on a shelf, sits an actual rubber duck, someone's idea of an inside joke now that the story has spread throughout the company. I close the email and open a new document, typing cybersecurity consulting services at the top. My experience with the DUCK project has given me unique insight into how corporate fraud operates from the inside knowledge that other companies would pay well to learn from. As I work on my business plan, I can't help but smile at the irony. Marcus created DUCK to steal millions, but in the end, it's becoming the foundation of my new career. The duck has indeed come home to roost, just not in the way anyone expected. The final piece falls into place a week later when Alex calls with news. The company's security cameras captured something interesting, he says. There was an actual rubber duck on Marcus's desk, one of those programmer debugging tools, worth maybe $10, not 10,000. We think that's where he got the idea for the name when someone asked what he was working on. I laugh for what feels like the first time in ages. So there really was a duck after all, just not the one he claimed you stole, Alex confirms. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. I hang up and return to my work, finally free of the shadow that had nearly consumed my life. The DUCK project is over, its creators facing justice, while I'm just getting started.